A place constantly revolving around emotional storms and overlapping relationships, now witnesses the emotional journey of Daniel Romalotti. Amidst tensions with his mother, Phyllis Summers, and worries about his young family, Daniel turns to his beloved father, Danny Romalotti, to share his feelings. Daniel's story and the burden of responsibility. Daniel sits across from Danny on a quiet afternoon, the cozy space unable to soothe the emotions that are surging inside him. Daniel begins to open up about the stresses he has been facing lately, especially his mother, Phyllis's uncontrollable anger. "She's always like that, Dad, you know," Daniel says, his voice filled with exhaustion. "But this time, I feel like things are getting out of control. Not only is her anger hurting her, but Lucy is also being caught up in this vortex." Danny, with the calmness of a seasoned father, listens to Daniel's every word. He understands that Phyllis, for all her complexity, is not always the easiest person to work with, especially when her emotions get the better of her. "You're worried about Lucy, and rightly so," Danny replies, placing his hand on Daniel's shoulder. "But you have to remember that your mother is not your enemy. Phyllis has her own pain that you can't see." Worries about Sharon and potential threats. Daniel doesn't stop at Phyllis, he also confides his worries about Sharon Newman. With all that Sharon has been through in the past, Daniel can't help but think about the possibility that someone out there wants to harm her. Every step of Sharon's life feels like it's on a tightrope, and that makes Daniel even more nervous. "I feel like there's a dark side lurking around Sharon," Daniel confesses. "I'm not worried, but after everything that's happened, I can't help but think that something worse is waiting." Danny, with his wealth of life experience, tries to reassure Daniel. "You can't control everything, Daniel. The only thing you can do is be there for Sharon and your family when they need you most." Danny, the father and the companion. Despite being a busy artist who often has to travel, Danny always tries to maintain a strong relationship with his son. He reassures Daniel that no matter where he is in the world, he is always ready to listen and support. "Just a phone call, Daniel," Danny says with a smile. "I'll be there, day or night." With time to spare before the next tour, Danny decides to spend the remaining days with Daniel and Lucy. He plans a small family trip, to further strengthen the bond between the three generations. Predictions of a difficult future. However, despite Danny's support, Daniel cannot avoid the harsh reality he is facing. The loss of Heather, the great love of his life, has left a deep void in Daniel's soul. He tries not to let this pain affect Lucy, but sometimes the emptiness is too great to hide. Hints that there are more surprises ahead for Daniel. Not only does he face the current chaos, but he also has to overcome future challenges, including facing his past with Heather. Will he be strong enough to move on? In all the chaos, family is the only support Daniel can rely on. Although his relationship with Phyllis is not easy, Daniel still understands that she is his mother, and his love for Lucy is the motivation to overcome it all. Danny, as a father, proves once again that family love and support can be a beacon of light in the midst of storms. "You don't have to do this alone," Danny says. "Your family will always be here for you." Daniel knows the road ahead won't be easy. He must deal with Phyllis's outbursts, protect Lucy from negative influences, and come to terms with his own loss. But with Danny's support and faith in his family, Daniel hopes he can make it through. In Genoa City's world of secrets and twists and turns, Daniel is learning to stand firm in the midst of the storm. But can he keep his heart strong, or will the challenges ahead bring him down? Time will tell. Young and the Restless spoilers reveal there is no shortage of unexpected storms, and this time the center of the storm is the haunting return of Ian Ward, a ghost from the past whose schemes and cruel acts have turned the lives of many upside down. It all started when Mariah Copeland and Tessa Porter faced a series of unexpected and dangerous events. Where Mariah and Tessa were enjoying the evening together, Ian's appearance suddenly made the atmosphere tense. Mariah could not hide her anger and fear when she realized that the person who ruined her life was standing right in front of her. She screamed, asking Ian to stay away from Tessa, suspecting that he had done something to her beloved wife. Ian, with a calm appearance and a seemingly convincing tone, insisted that he was just helping Tessa, who had just gone through a health crisis. However, Ian's explanation did not reassure Mariah. She questions him, how he knew they were married and if he was spying on them. Ian smiles cryptically, refusing to answer the question directly. Nick and Faith Newman's wrath. Outside society, Faith Newman and Nick Newman appear. Upon seeing Ian, both cannot hide their anger. Faith, despite her young age, knows full well the crimes Ian has committed against her family. Meanwhile, Nick immediately flies into a rage, demanding that Ian leave Genoa City immediately. Ian continues to insist that he has changed and is now a prison chaplain, legally released from prison. Nick, with the memory of Ian's old tricks, does not believe a word he says. "Do you think we will believe your lies?" Nick growls, his eyes full of caution. Tessa and the painful realization. During the argument, Tessa suddenly realizes that Ian is actually Warren Masters, the cult leader who ruined Mariah's childhood. This realization shocks her and makes her regret having accidentally shown Ian a picture of her daughter, Arya Porter. Tessa also tells him Arya's real name, which makes her worry that Ian might use this information to do harm. Mariah quickly comforts Tessa, insisting that she could not have known and does not blame her for falling into Ian's trap. However, Ian's appearance stirs up painful memories for Mariah. She remembers waking up in her wedding dress after being drugged by Ian, the feeling of fear and helplessness that still haunts her to this day. Nick calls the police and determined to face it. Nick, unwilling to let Ian continue to harass his family, tells Faith to call the police. In the meantime, he orders everyone, including Mariah and Tessa, to go inside the society for safety. However, Tessa, still weak from her health crisis, refuses to call an ambulance. She wants to clear up any problems related to Ian before going to the doctor. Ian continues to argue that he is only trying to make amends and has been using a fake name to avoid problems related to his true identity. However, these words do not move Nick. He believes that Ian is just up to his old tricks and is determined to bring him to justice. The mysterious absence of Sharon Newman. While the events at the society unfold, Faith suddenly realizes that her mother, Sharon Newman, has not arrived for the anniversary celebration as promised. Faith senses that something is wrong. She shares with Nick and Mariah, but no one knows where Sharon is. The shocking truth revealed. In Jordan's guest room, Sharon Newman is found unconscious. She is tied to the bed, her mouth covered with duct tape. The scene is cold and sinister. Who did this to Sharon? And why? The answer is still hidden in the dark night of Genoa City. Conflicts and hopes. As the incident gradually reaches its climax, Genoa City is once again drawn into a spiral of secrets, intrigue and nightmares from the past. Mariah tries to hold on to the belief that Ian will not cause any more harm to her family. Meanwhile, Nick and Faith are determined to find Sharon and bring Ian to justice. But has Ian really changed, or is this just a new cover for dark plots? How will Tessa and Mariah overcome this challenge? And what will be Sharon's fate now that she is in the hands of her enemies? Unanswered questions hang over Genoa City, where secrets and truths intertwine in a never-ending cycle.